All right, we're into it. Hello, good morning and good afternoon. Last morning, early morning, and for you guys in New York, a bit later. Hello, everybody. I'm Jethro, and this is Dean, and this is our third installment of our Shop Talk podcast series. Today, we've got Shop Talk royalty joining us. We have HG and Isabel from Shop Talk who are going to talk to us about the agenda, what's up, what's happening, what we can expect, and as we were saying just before we got started, this is a glimpse behind the curtain. We're going to get a bit of a sense as to what it's all actually about, where the magic comes from. So I'll stop there. HG, Isabel, do you want to introduce yourselves and we can just get straight into it?
Yeah, that's really exciting. Really excited to talk to you, Jethro, and like all of Australia. We're just really excited to be here. I'm Isabel. I work with retailers and brands that attend Shop Talk. Jethro said many wonderful things about our event, but we've been in the retail space for about 10 years. This is actually going to be our 10th anniversary Shop Talk in 2026. And we really focus on being the platform for retailers and brands to innovate. So we're really excited to be speaking with everyone.
And hi, everyone. I'm HG. I am Shop Talk Senior Editorial Director. I have been with Shop Talk for close to 7 years and have been on the content team the entire time. So we are the team that works a bit behind the scenes. We set the agenda, we set the core themes of each show, and then we book out the agenda with the close to 200 speakers that will participate in Shoptalk Spring. So I'm here to share a little bit more about the agenda, what's new, what formats are new, what topics are new, and what you can expect when you're on site.
Amazing. Good. Thank you.
I might also jump in, Jethro. Like, everybody knows who I am, but if they're in our community, they would know who we are. But I guess I'm just really excited because, obviously, first of all, I think I've mentioned on the previous podcast, I've never been to Shop Talk, but the one thing is that everybody knows that I go to so many conferences here in Australia. And the one thing I get most is, oh, have you been to Shop Talk? It's the number one thing I get. And I'm like, no, I haven't. They're like, oh my God, you've done all these conferences, but you haven't done Shop Talk. What's going on? And I just get it so much that, I'm just really excited about, 5 weeks away now at the time of recording this podcast. I'm really excited about going.
Yeah, I got asked the other day what the one thing about Shop Talk is for me. I said, I think it's my glimpse into the future. And just looking at this agenda, I think that is exactly what it is. So on that note, Ash, do you want to talk us through what do we got in store this year?
Absolutely. So I'd love to start by talking about the core theme, which we set for every show. It's a little bit different, and we try to respond to what we think the moment is in the industry. It will come as no surprise to anyone that for this year's event, the theme is retail in the age of AI. I would love to find someone who could argue with me that we are not living in that age. Of course, not every topic will be covering AI. This is not the full AI show, soup to nuts. However, what we're doing is acknowledging that there is not an aspect of the business right now that is not affected by responding to or thinking about what the future will hold with AI, with the way that it is permeating all aspects of the retail industry. So it's a little bit of what it is what it says on the tin. We'll be focusing on AI a lot. We will be doing some real deep dives into where AI is showing up in different aspects of a business, whether that is the in-store experience, whether that is the operation side of things. We will be really getting into the weeds on topics like agents, PDPs, etc. We will, however, also be focusing, I like to say it's a little bit of the flip side of AI. If you think of AI, I think it often conjures up a little bit of the cold computer, everything very analytical. We are not forgetting the human touch, because what we hear for every conversation about the importance of AI is that question, what's going to happen to the human element that we know is so important still to our shoppers, to consumers? They're still looking for those moments. So it might not be an even 50-50 split, but for every session that's focusing on one aspect of AI in 2026, you will find a session that's focused on the customer, the moment, that personal human connection that is still so important in the retail industry.
Amazing. So just looking through the agenda, obviously a lot of AI, as you said, which is the level of detail here is amazing in terms of the different areas they should get into. I noticed you've also added these tactical lab sessions. Can you talk to that? What are they?
Absolutely. So the labs are new for Shoptalk Spring. For anyone who might have come over for our grocery shop show in the fall, they were called our test kitchens. Of course, a more appropriate name for our grocery and food show. Our labs are going to be, they are the deep dives. We're getting really in the weeds of very specific topics, and they will be a very curated workshop format where, to give you a sense of what to expect when you go into one of the labs, you'll first hear a presentation by a retail expert. This could be someone who is, a consultant, agency, someone in the industry. They're going to give you a presentation on, as I said, it's a very specific topic. A lot of them are AI focused. I mentioned the agents, I mentioned PDPs. We have one on, on AEO and GEO, things like that. We also have a number of labs that are going to focus on a little bit more of the marketing side of things. So we're going to dive deep into, for example, how you can use video as a storytelling device, how you can be really thoughtful about your creator influencer partnerships, and how you can make sure that you're choosing people who really reflect your brand values. So again, these will not be sessions that appeal to every single person in the audience. They're designed to really reach certain segments of our attendees who are focused on that specific topic. So to get back to the format, you'll have a presentation by an expert. Then we'll bring on a few practitioners, we're calling them. These will be brand and retailer speakers who are really diving in deep. They're in the weeds every day. They are executing on these products. They're thinking about challenges in a creative way. And they'll have a conversation with the expert. And then we're going to open the floor up, whether that's polling, whether that's audience Q&A. We want these conversations to be a dialogue. We want it to feel different than your average panel or fireside chat. These are meant to be interactive. They're meant to spark creativity and spark conversations.
Awesome. No, I'm really excited about that. I think I said to someone recently, they asked me about who goes to Shoptalk. I said Shoptalk is the best, so it attracts the best, and you've just got the best. Everybody wants to be there because everybody's there. Because everybody's there, everybody wants to be there. So you've got this beautiful flywheel effect. And just looking at your keynotes, I mean, you've got some amazing people like Niraj from Wayfair and some others. So are there any specific reasons like why these people have come on, or what do you expect them to talk about?
Yeah, our keynote lineup, I am so excited about. I think it is going to be our best one yet. And you'll notice a pattern on some of the speakers. So we have a few brands that we feel have done an amazing job of meeting the moment, perhaps reinventing themselves, reinventing their customer acquisition strategy, their marketing strategy. Brands that where they are today and they are thriving today is a bit different than where you might have seen them a number of years ago. The two examples I'll bring up are we have the CEOs of New Balance and the CEO of Victoria's Secret. So Hillary Super from Victoria's Secret, Joe Preston from New Balance. These are both really iconic brands that had a slightly different image. We'll say maybe in the 2000s, New Balance, of course, very openly talks about they were a dad sneaker, right? And then they just exploded in popularity across demographics. You see, Gen Z loves their New Balance. And so we really want to get to the heart of these stories of how did you take a really iconic legacy brand and bring it into the moment in 2026. I think Wayfair, for all of its storied history as an e-commerce platform, is entering a new moment as it gets into physical stores, right? And becoming a player in that space. So you'll see some of those conversations as a through line. While we're talking about storied institutions, Macy's is on stage. We have two executives from Macy's who will be speaking about, once again, what is a department store doing to succeed in this era, in 2026? How are they bringing in customers? How are they thinking about the in-store experience, the merchandising assortment, and again, just staying relevant and staying on top of their game? So if there is a through line with a number of the speakers, it is exactly that. It is, how are you constantly reinventing your brand for continued success? How are you maintaining customer loyalty with the people who have known your brand, for years or decades, and how are you always acquiring, bringing in new loyal customers?
Macy's are my favorite part of Shoptalk events because I remember the first time we had a CEO, the new CEO, and he gave an impassioned, amazing speech on his new strategy. And it was brilliant. It was a very good presentation. And then a year or two later, he had gone, and the next one came along, and he gave a very impassioned speech about the new strategy and how it's all going to change everything. So I'm excited to see what the third iteration is going to look like.
I think the message is, don't bet against Macy's. Macy's is continuing to ideate and stay relevant. And so we will have a slightly different perspective. We're going to hear a little bit about the tech they're bringing in store. And you think of department stores and you think, what can they do differently in store? And it is bringing in that tech piece. So there'll be some exciting news coming from them that we'll hear on stage.
Very cool. So there's so much going on here. Like, you've just got so much brilliant stuff. So I guess one of the questions we often get asked is, okay, I'm going to a conference. How do I be everywhere at once? Like, Isabel, maybe you've got some thoughts, like, what's the strategy here? How, as a newbie who turns up and goes, I can't drink from the fire hose. It's a little bit too
someone
much.
Someone like me that's turning up. And
how do you do this?
How do I do this? Yeah.
Oh my goodness, there's so many strategies, and I think it just depends on like what type of learner you are, because we're predominantly we're here for you to learn. And I think like the HG and the team adding like tactical labs, it really like touches on however you want to learn. If you want to sit on panels and just absorb, if you want to do Q&A. So I feel like it's such like we should get like a personality quiz on like what's your learning personality and like set your agenda that way. But I actually also like to recommend sessions based on, what your goals are for your organization and what your role is. Like, are you more tactical and do you need more like hands-on learning about AI? Like, do you want to focus on the technologies that you need to bring into the business? Or are you looking for more, industry-wide content? Like HG had mentioned, we have a bunch of new sessions around like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, new customer behaviors, new attitudes. So that's another like through line, I think, that you could focus on. Or if you want to focus on like building loyalty and community, like, is that like where you are in terms of like growing your business? Like, so you could focus on those tracks. Or you could kind of just do everything and do like, a very tactical session, like a very like market driven session, and then like something on like loyalty or community. I think that's something great about Shoptalk, is what we have kind of everything for everybody.
Absolutely. Another thing I'll add is that what I love about the way we have set up this year's agenda is that the different track rooms that you'll see, and they're all on the expo floor, which makes for a really great experience. You can do a little bit more popping in and out of rooms and being on the show floor. But the track rooms have a through line for each of the 3 days. So essentially, if you know what you're interested in, you're going to be able to remember, oh, this room is for this topic. And I can walk through what those topics are, because I think if it was my first time attending the show, I would like to know, okay, at any point during the day, if I go to X, Y, or Z stage, I'll see this type of content. So we've already talked about the 2 lab stages. We have Lab AI, which of course is, as we discussed, Lab B, which is going to be for those non-AI topics, a good amount of marketing. But then we have our 4 main stages. And we have first our marketing and media stage. So you can imagine this is where we're going to be talking about everything from retail media to influencer and social marketing to full funnel, etc. We have our AI stage. No need to describe what that will be. That is where you'll have AI as it touches so many aspects of the retail industry. We have our tech spotlight stage. This is where you'll be hearing from really innovative solution providers, whether it is our startup pitch, which is very early stage, whether you'll be hearing from more established players on things like marketing tech, fulfillment tech, things like that. And then finally, we have our cultivating customer stage. This is the personal touch that I was talking about earlier. We have some really fun new topics on here, everything from our first session on speaking to nostalgia and why there's a huge moment in nostalgia with shoppers. We'll be talking about stores as venues for connection. We'll be talking about merchandising. It's the first time that we will have a panel on Gen Alpha, who does not yet have their own purchasing power, but before we know it, they will. And in the meantime, we've seen that they're already really passionate about categories like beauty and skincare. So how are brands meeting that moment? So you can think of it at the show as you have these 4 stages. And if you are a marketing person, you might want to spend a lot of your time sitting in the marketing stage. But if you are a marketing person who says, you know what, while I'm at Shoptalk, why don't I learn about some really interesting tech? Or why don't I think about how I can market more to customers who are looking for that nostalgia? You'll have a good sense of what track to go to. So hopefully we've made it fairly simple, and you can know throughout each of the 3 days where you're going to want to position yourself to hear a good blend of the things that really relate to your core role, and try something new. Learn about an area that might not affect you directly, but you might want to learn about some different aspects of the business.
I think I'm going to be stuck with FOMO. I don't know where I'm going to be. I'm going to try and be everywhere at once.
You also always bring more people, so split up all
that's
the
a great
stages, so
plan,
you need somebody in
exactly.
each room.
Right.
I know
Compare
Jethro will
notes
be
at lunch.
Yeah, that's right. Jethro will be somewhere. I'll be somewhere else, no doubt. And we'll have to come back and compare notes.
So
Yeah.
obviously
And here's-
the content. Sorry, go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, here's something new that we're doing. Every session is going to have key takeaways. So at the end of every panel conversation, you're going to see a slide come up with 3 key takeaways. So all you need to do is quickly write those down, Jethro, or take a quick photo, and then be easy to share with Dean over lunch. Oh, look, you had to miss this session. Here are those 3 bullet points that you can convey to each other and share.
Awesome.
We're going to play a bingo game. Who can get the most amount of takeaway? Who can get the most amount of
Oh,
takeaway
that's a
slides?
good one.
We'll see. Whoever wins that will get some special prize. So this sounds amazing. I'm really excited. And just to move beyond the content, obviously one of the other amazing things about Shoptalk is all the extramural activities, all the extracurricular stuff. So I see on here we've got a industry night, and then obviously the famous/infamous beach party as well. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about what those are?
Yeah, so Industry Night is open to all ticket holders at Shoptalk. It is our, welcome party, if you'll take it that way. It's going to be at Swingers on Tuesday night. And then if you're not
Sorry, just
familiar
to
with
interrupt for
Swingers,
once. Yeah, I was going to say, just talk about what that is. People
something-
like
it
it
means
wrong
something
idea,
else.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Swingers, it's not, it's a pretty PG place. It's actually a mini golf venue at Mandalay Bay. There's like arcade games, and there is mini golf in like these beautiful, very aesthetic like location right in Mandalay Bay. So I know it's right after the show closes on Tuesday. So that'll be like a good, first place to head for your first networking opportunity that night. And then on Wednesday night is our famous beach party. This year's performer is Neo. And we're actually going to be doing a nod to all of the performers we had in the past. So lots of surprises there for our 10th anniversary. The theme is different this year. So Jethro, you need a different outfit. It is black and neon. So we're not a white party anymore. We're in a black and neon party.
Time for a new outfit.
So it's time for a new outfit for anybody that's been to Shoptalk before. And that starts at 8 p.m. At the Mandalay Bay Beach. You do need your badge. So we're really excited about those things. So not just learning, but fun too, the whole week.
Awesome.
Cool.
Looking forward to that.
Dean, what are your thoughts here? Like, anything that comes to mind that you need to know before we let?
No, I think that you guys have done a really good job explaining it. I think I'm probably just a bit, I don't know. There's just, like Jethro said, there's just so much on the agenda that not really sure where I'm going to be or what. I think I need to, probably one thing I do talk at conferences about what you should do before a conference, and that's plan. So I think I'm going to have to go, or at least on the flight over or whatever, I'm going to have to sit down and try to figure out where I'm going to be when, because I think there's just so much going on. I get a feeling if I'm going to try to figure it out on the fly, I won't make it happen the way I want it to. So yeah, there's just a lot there, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I do want to add, like, all of the shop talks are known for our meetup program, and these are one-to-one meetings where you meet with solution providers, but it's also open to any ticket holder at Shoptalk, and that actually opens today. Our meetup program opens today in terms of the first stage that is creating your profile. And it's like the most efficient way to source new solutions, meet people. So if you're a very structured individual in terms of meetings and looking for solutions, it's the best way to do it because it is a one-to-one matching program. you select the vendors you want to meet with, and then they also have to opt into the meeting. So you're already going into the meeting knowing that you both have similar goals and needs. So that opens today and goes all the way through to a week before the show. So if you're looking to be more organized, like that's a great way to do it too. And then wait, I do have to add that we have over 900 solutions. So it is the most efficient way to narrow that down to what you need.
And I'd probably say, Jethro, if you are finishing up, I'd like to hear from the guys if they were to pick 3 sessions I should go to, which would be the top 3?
You go first, HG.
HG is like my second child. Which one do I give you?
No, I know, it really is. They are all my babies. That is a fantastic question. So hard to pick just 3, but the first one I'll call out is our rapid fire session on assessing the most impactful AI applications. A rapid fire session is a little bit like, we call it a panel on caffeine. You'll have 3 brand experts and they will be given a topic. They have 4 minutes between the 3 of them to give an answer. There is a buzzer, there is a countdown clock. It is really fun, really engaging, but it is the best way to hear just coverage on so many different topics in the AI space. Highly recommend. It's going to be a great level setting of, what are the core things we're talking about here, and what are some really differentiated perspectives on it. So that one is the morning of March 25th. I'll call that one out. We are going to have a session the morning of the first show, March 24th, that's going to be a really interesting retail media session. And we're going to do, for the first time,
definitely flavor of the month at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Retail media
it's so true,
of
right?
the month.
No surprises. Hopefully we're doing some different things though with it. We're going to bring together a retailer and a brand on stage together. So we'll hear, the retailer perspective on why a brand should work with them. But we're going to hear the brand perspective on what's going on, what it's like to actually work together as partners. So I recommend that one. I think it is a different flavor of the retail media conversation. And then finally, I would really recommend our tactics for enticing Gen Z and Gen Alpha on the final afternoon of the show. I think, I'm someone who is always fascinated by what trends we're going to see with these newest generations, what they're going to use their purchasing power for. We've got some great brands who are going to be talking about exactly how they're working with these demographics. And I think it's just a really interesting way. Final afternoon of the show, we're future looking. And then I will cheat and I will add one fourth one, which is also on the final day of the show. We have our famous Shoptalk key takeaways. So members of my content team will be on stage. This is the perfect way for all those sessions that you didn't get to. We'll be discussing the top trends, the key things you might have missed across the 3 days. It is essentially a great cheat sheet to take home of what Shoptalk 2026 was all about.
Awesome. I'll make sure I'm get to those ones.
Yeah.
Jethro, you can go to something else. I'll go to the good ones.
Yeah, I'll take one for the team. That's all good. Isabel, have you got anything you're looking forward to?
I'm actually excited to see the new formats, like the tactical labs, like any of them seem really interesting. And also there's something at the end of the day now called Retail Rumble. I think
I saw that.
At explaining what a retail rumble is, but I'm excited to see what how that's gonna end up.
No copyright infringement, but a working title of it was Retail's Fight Club, to give you a sense. It's going to be great. It's going to be so fun. It is. It's a little bit after hours, so there'll be some libations for you if you stick around, and it will be debates. So hot topics in the industry. You're going to have sets of 2 people debating the pro and the con side. It's going to be lively. It's going to be something completely different, and we're really excited. So don't miss that.
That sounds fun.
This whole thing sounds amazing. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
We're excited.
I know, we're very excited. We're in that place where we need every moment of those 5 weeks, but we also can't wait to be there and be in Vegas.
Isabel, thank you so much. We really look forward to seeing you. Hope you'll come join us the night before at our Australian party. And,
of course.
Absolutely, wouldn't miss it.
Great. And we'll meet you in person. And we're super excited. So again, thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you in about a month's time.
Yeah, thank you.
This is great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jethro.